The story of Genghis Khan's final resting place is one of history's most compelling and enduring enigmas. For nearly 8 centuries, the location of his tomb has remained a closely guarded secret, fueling countless theories and expeditions. The man who forged the largest contiguous empire in history vanished from the world as mysteriously as he had appeared. Born around 162 and named Temujin, his early life was marked by hardship and brutal tribal warfare. He endured poverty, the kidnapping of his wife, and constant threats from rival clans. These early struggles forged a leader of unparalleled military genius and strategic vision. By 1206, Temujin had successfully united the disparate Mongol tribes under his rule. He was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler, at a grand assembly known as a Kurultai. At this point, he launched a series of devastatingly effective military campaigns. His armies, known for their discipline and equestrian skills, swept across Asia. They conquered kingdoms and empires, from China to the Middle East. The Mongol Empire became a bridge between East and West, facilitating trade and cultural exchange along the Silk Road. Genghis Khan was not only a conqueror, but also a brilliant administrator. He established a written language, a legal code known as the Yasa, and a reliable postal system. His rule, though often brutal, brought a period of stability known as the Pax Mongolica. In the summer of 1227, during a campaign against the Tanguts in western Cia, the great conqueror's life came to an end. The exact cause of his death remains a subject of historical debate. Some sources claim he fell from his horse, while others suggest he succumbed to illness or an infected wound. One legend even whispers that he was killed by a Tangut princess taken as war booty. Before his death, Genghis Khan gave explicit instructions for his burial. He wished for his final resting place to remain a secret for all time. This final command set in motion one of the most elaborate funeral processions in history. His body was carried back to his homeland in Mongolia, a journey of immense secrecy and sorrow. According to the accounts of Marco Polo and other chroniclers, the funeral escort had a grim task. They were ordered to kill every person and animal that crossed their path. This brutal measure was intended to eliminate any witnesses to the procession's route. Goal was absolute secrecy, the final command from their departed leader. Once the tomb was prepared, the slaves who built it were massacred. Then, the soldiers who had killed the slaves were themselves eliminated by another group of soldiers. This horrifying chain of events was designed to create an unbreakable seal of silence. Legends say that 1,000 horses were then galloped over the grave. Their hooves were meant to trample the ground, erasing any sign of disturbance. Another tale claims that a river was diverted to flow over the burial site. This would make the tomb forever inaccessible, hidden beneath the flowing water. Some stories even suggest that trees were planted on the site, creating a forest to conceal the grave. Over time, this forest would grow, making the location indistinguishable from the surrounding landscape. The most probable location for the tomb is believed to be in the Khenti Mountains of Mongolia, specifically near the sacred mountain of Burkhan Khaldun. This area held deep spiritual significance for Genghis Khan. He had hidden there as a young man, escaping from enemies. He credited the mountain with saving his life and considered it his protector. Historical texts suggest he designated this area as the burial site for himself and his descendants. This region, known as the Ikkorig, or Great Taboo, was sealed off after his death. For centuries, entry into the area was forbidden to anyone but the Mongol royal family. Trespassers were said to be executed, ensuring the sanctity of the site. This prohibition was enforced for generations, further shrouding the tomb in mystery. The Soviet era in Mongolia saw the area remain restricted, this time for political reasons. Today, the Mongolian government has designated the region as a protected heritage site. This makes access for archaeological research extremely difficult and limited. Many Mongolians believe that the tomb should never be found. They view the secrecy of his burial as the fulfillment of his final wish. Disturbing his grave, they fear, would bring a curse upon the world. This belief is a powerful deterrent to any large-scale excavation efforts. Reverence for Genghis Khan as the father of their nation is profound. Despite these cultural barriers, the allure of the tomb has inspired numerous search attempts. For centuries, explorers and treasure hunters have dreamed of finding it. They imagine a tomb filled with the plundered treasures of a vast empire. In the 20th and 21st centuries, these searches have become more scientific. Foreign archaeological teams have occasionally been granted permission to conduct limited surveys. A joint Japanese-Mongolian expedition in the 1990s, named Gurvan Go, was one of the most significant. They used sophisticated technology to survey the Khenti Mountains. However, the project was met with public protests in Mongolia and was eventually cancelled. In 2001, a Chicago-based lawyer and amateur historian, Maury Kravitz, led another expedition. His team claimed to have found a walled burial ground with many unopened tombs. They believed it could be the cemetery of Genghis Khan's royal court. But before they could investigate further, their funding ran out and the political climate shifted. More recently, technology has offered new, non-invasive ways to search. Dr. Albert Yumin Lin from the University of California, San Diego, launched a project with National Geographic. They used satellite imagery and asked online volunteers to help scan the vast territory. This crowdsourcing approach allowed them to cover an immense area without setting foot on the ground. The project identified dozens of potential archaeological sites of interest. However, none have been definitively confirmed as the tomb of the Great Khan. The challenges remain immense, even with modern technology. The search area is vast, rugged, and sparsely populated. The secrecy of the original burial was incredibly effective. There are no contemporary written accounts that describe the tomb's location. All we have are later legends and second-hand reports. The tomb itself is likely to be modest, in keeping with Mongol tradition. It would not be a grand pyramid or mausoleum, but a simple burial in the earth. This makes it incredibly difficult to detect with remote sensing techniques. Some scholars have proposed alternative locations for the tomb. One theory suggests the Ordos region of Inner Mongolia, in modern-day China. There is a large mausoleum there dedicated to Genghis Khan. However, this is a cenotaph, a monument, and does not contain his body. It serves as a shrine for the cult of Genghis Khan, which is still practiced today. The mystery of the tomb is, in many ways, a core part of Genghis Khan's legacy. It adds to the almost mythical status of the man who changed the course of world history. His empire fractured after his death, but his influence endures. He is a national hero in Mongolia, a symbol of their strength and unity. The question of whether to search for the tomb remains a sensitive and divisive issue. Some argue that finding the tomb would be a monumental archaeological discovery. It could provide invaluable insights into the Mongol Empire and its founder. Others insist that his final wish for secrecy should be respected. They believe that some mysteries are best left unsolved. For now, the Conqueror's tomb remains hidden, protected by history, legend, and the reverence of his people. The Great Khan rests in peace, somewhere in the vast, silent landscapes of Mongolia. His final secret remains one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. The search for his tomb is a quest for history itself. It is a story that continues to capture the imagination of people around the globe. Perhaps the tomb is not meant to be found by satellite or by shovel. Perhaps it is a place that exists more in legend than in reality. The legacy of Genghis Khan is not in a tomb, but in the world he created. His story is written on the landscapes of Asia and in the annals of history. The secret of his burial is a final, silent testament to his power. He commanded an empire, and in death, he commanded absolute silence. The world may never know the exact location of his final rest. And perhaps that is exactly as he intended. The mystery is the monument. His absence from the archaeological record is his most profound statement. The lost tomb is a symbol of the ultimate, unknowable power. It is a final conquest, not of land, but of history itself. The world continues to search, but the mountain keeps its secret. The spirit of the great Khan remains undisturbed, as he wished. His final resting place is the vast, untamed heart of Mongolia, a place of solitude, of power, and of enduring mystery. The silence surrounding his tomb is more eloquent than any epitaph. It speaks of a power that transcends even death. The search for the tomb is a search for a ghost who has successfully eluded the modern world. The story of the lost tomb is a lesson in humility. It reminds us that not all secrets are meant to be revealed. The world may have its technology, but Genghis Khan has his silence. And for now, that silence remains unbroken. The Conqueror's final command is still being obeyed. The world holds its breath, waiting for a secret that may never be told. The legend of the lost tomb will continue to inspire and intrigue for generations to come. It is a timeless tale of power, secrecy, and the enduring mystery of the past. The tomb remains a whisper on the wind, a shadow on the steppe. A final, perfect mystery from the man who conquered the world.